Good day and welcome to today's SportWrap show. I'm Limba Mupetami, your host. Some of the things to look out for in today's show is this weekend's Pstbet Football Cup, with one of the organizers, Mwahafa Erastus, speaking about the preparations. Also, we have a special cricket segment. And well, of course, to kickstart, let's head into the hit list. Hilalia Johannes, Queen of Marathon Running, will compete in the 2022 Women's 10-kilometer Spa Grand Prix Final 6-race series in Cape Town on Sunday, her coach Robert Kahuhuena confirmed. Johannes, the 2019 Spa Grand Prix champion, is in third position with 117 points. Local racehorse enthusiasts will be in for a roller coaster ride when the Ankermund Racing Club hosts its Standard Bank sponsored event at the revered Okahanja turf tomorrow. This weekend races will be one of 4 remaining events of the year. Just to show you just some of the highlights from some of the races that have taken place last year. You know, I mean, if you are a horse racing enthusiast, Okahanja is the place to be. Now, the 2022 Namibian Show Jumping Championships will take place over the weekend at Kaps Farm as well, that is east of Windhoek. According to one of the organizers, Froki Richlow, 79 horses have been entered into the competition. Well, of course, with that, we come to the end of the hit list, and then up next is the In the Pipeline segment of the show. Don't move an inch. The Pstbet Football Cup will take place over the weekend in the north. Now, this is the first of its kind tournament and will see 102 football teams and 16 netball teams. Here is Mwahafa Erastus speaking about how the tournament will uplift everyone involved. Have a listen to this.
My name is Mwahafa Erastus. I'm well-known Shpanduleni. I'm one of the members of the organizing committee that is organizing this PST tournament, Pstbet tournament, a tournament which is happening in the northern region of the 4 northern regions of Namibia, but it has attracted all the 12 regions countrywide. It's the first of its kind. PST have decided to give back to the community as their social responsibility. So this is a tournament, the biggest of its kind. We have got 102 soccer teams that have registered so far and 16 netball teams that are coming for this tournament. So we have been doing the groundwork. We have prepared already. Of course, under the sponsorship of PST, we have managed to secure 3 soccer fields. But we are only left with the netball courts that we are preparing now with the measurements and stuff like that. Otherwise, we are ready for you people. Ngobeola is waiting for you. Hosting a tournament of this kind at this region is really very much important, because it's not only going to uplift the economic and social standards of our people, but it's also going to revive back the love of sport, which was dying gradually because there were no sponsors that are coming on board like PST is doing. Teams are coming in for free, and the prices are very much. The winners are going to go back home smiling.
Well, of course, if you are in that area, please check out that Pstbet Football Cup. With that, we cross over to another break, and then when we return, we head over to the Your Take segment of today's show.
From Mwahafa region. Ocho's on Jupa. Now attacking. Charge.
Crowd is clapping him on. strongest high jumpers as far as go out. High school in the corner. The box is Concordia. Beautiful dummy over there by weekend. We're going to see more flow in good rugby. Everyone playing their
Namibian featherweight boxer Desert Storm, Zacharias Desert Storm Lucas, is set and ready to face Raymond Ford in the WBA Continental America's featherweight title. Well, of course, that fight will take place on the 12th of November, that is. Now, as you can see there, that is Desert Storm just prepping for that fight with his promoter and trainer, Emmanuel Ace Moses. That is going to be a definite, great fight, actually, to look forward to. That is, I mean, Namibian boxers have been doing quite well internationally as well. So best of luck to Desert Storm. Now with that, we head into another short ad break, and once we get back, we head over to the international segment, and that is with none other than Ari Gerhard. So please stay tuned.
Everyone, time for international sports news. Starting off with soccer news or football news, it is English Premier League midweek games that was played. It is Fulham that beat Aston Villa by 3-0, and significant for Aston Villa. With the loss, they moved down to 17th position out of 20 teams that is on the English Premier League. They've got 9 league points out of 11 games. Big news from the club, however, is that Steven Gerrard, their coach, has been sacked, and one of many coaches that have been sacked this season already. So Steven Gerrard in his playing days is a big component of a big important player for Liverpool. He's no longer the coach of Aston Villa. Also another midweek game, Leicester City, they were too strong for Leeds United. Important win for Leicester City, moves them up to number 19th, or they stay 19th on the log out of 20 teams. They now have 8 points after 11 games. At the bottom of the log, on 20th position, is Nottingham Forest. They have 6 points after 11 games. At the moment, still Arsenal leading. They've got 27 points after 10 games, with Manchester City in second position, 23 league points after 10 games. On to golf news. It is the Mallorca Golf Open that's been played on the European DP World Tour, and it's Marcus Armitage of England. He's the leader after round 1, came in with a round of 63, that is 8 under par. Dan Huizing of the Netherlands, second at the moment, -7 with a round of 64. Southern African interest tied for 6 at the moment is Darren Figat, 5 under par on 66 that he came in with, and then both on 30, tied for 31st at the moment, Daniel van Tonder and Brendan Grace. They both came in with a round of 69, that is 2 under par. Also in Southern African, the Sunshine Tour is being played in Durban at the moment. It is the Sunbet Challenge. The leader there is Richard Joubert. They already have played 2 rounds, and it is rounds of 67 and 61, a total of -4. He's leading by 1 shot over Peter Kamos on -3. And Dylan Naidu, the leader after the first round with a 66, he battled with a 74 in the second round. He came in with a total now after 2 rounds of 2 under par. Continuing with tennis news, it is a Guadalajara Open that is being played in the WTA Women's Open Women's Tennis Circuit. It's being played in Akron, Ohio. And some of the results, some of the players through to the quarterfinals. Coco Gauff, the number 5 seed, she beat Martina Tevesen by 6-love and 6-3. She safely through to the quarterfinals. Also, Maria Sakkari, she's the number 4 seed. She beat Danielle Collins of the USA by 5-7, 6-3 and 6-3, also to advance to the quarterfinals. And then Victoria Azarenka, she's too strong for Madeline Keys of the USA. Madeline Keys was the 14th seed, and it was Victoria Azarenka that won that game 6-4, 6-7 and 6-1. Also to play in the quarterfinals, both players through to the quarterfinals. Two Americans will contend for the title of the weekend is Jessica Pegula, and she will play against Sloane Stephens, both of the players of the USA. And to close off today's international sports news, some Grand Prix news. It is the Grand Prix of the USA this coming weekend at the Circuit of the Americas. And news from the Formula One is before the start was that Lewis Hamilton made a statement regarding to the budget cap. Lewis Hamilton said that it's important that should be punishment for teams that went over the budget cap. That's related to the 2021 season, where it was found that Red Bull went over the salary cap of 145 million, not the salary cap, but that is the budget cap of what the teams may spend in the season, 145 million US dollars. Apparently, it was Red Bull that went over that amount by $7 million US dollars. But Lewis Hamilton lost the title to Max Verstappen of the Red Bull team, and that was on the last race of the season of 2021. But Lewis Hamilton made a statement. He said that there should be punishment for going over the cap. Otherwise, that will just be relaxed restrictions, and everybody will go over the cap in future. Max Verstappen said at media conferences that his team still believe that they didn't go over the cap, and so there's a penalty that will be communicated with Red Bull, and it is anticipated that it might also entail that Max Verstappen might lose his title of the 2021 champion. So that is all still in hands of the FIA to decide. So that's the international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day and a sporting weekend. We talk again on Monday.
The United Arab Emirates won their first ever game at a T20 World Cup yesterday to upset Namibia by 7 runs and send the Netherlands into the Super 12 stage of the tournament. The Africans would have joined Sri Lanka in the next round rather than the Dutch had they won. But against the odds, the United Arab Emirates restricted them to 141-8 as they chased 149 for victory. The Namibians are out of the competition, sadly. But indeed, a brave performance from the squad. Enjoy these upcoming interviews with team captain Gerhard Erasmus and David Vassie, as well as Chief Operations Manager of Cricket Namibia, Harold Fuller, Board Member of Cricket Namibia, Henry Prinsloo, and then, of course, that will conclude today's show. We will, however, be back once again on Monday, so please catch us then.
Across that river, Jordan. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Good evening. We start with the interviews now. We'll take questions from the journalists present here. Paul,
God, sorry, can you put it into words just how you're feeling at the moment, because you got so close?
Yeah, I think can't really put it into words. I think last year we were at the other end of this, so it's tough to sort of be trying to decipher over the last 2 games where it went wrong. But I think all in all, we perhaps didn't play, well enough for the 2 wins. If I can be hard on ourselves, we had sort of after that first game, we'll add it in our own hands, I guess. So yeah, it's obviously very disappointing, having lost 2 in a row now and being out, after that first game. It's just tough to sort of decipher and get your head around it. I think there was a change in momentum obviously after that first game, after that high, which was in a way seems might have been inevitable, but I think we tried in both games to sort of do the rescue, and I guess as a cricketer or as a leader, at least you want to start off well, play a proper game, and win properly. Although that doesn't always happen, I think we stuck to it very nicely to try and put a good fight into both of those games, or having not started very well in those games. So that speaks a lot to our culture and our way of playing. So really proud of that. If I can get that out there, I'm really proud of the guys. I'm really proud of the coaching staff, how we've responded in tough situations. But as a cricketer, you'd like to think that you want to play out of those 2 games. You would have liked to play one proper game of cricket, skill wise, and outsmart, outskill other team, and take the 2 points and qualify.
It's be a bit too early to reflect on it, but that first game was so momentous. Do you think it took something out of you guys, or perhaps even subconsciously, because you had that win, whoever it was against in the first game, you might have been a little bit complacent because you had that cushion?
Yeah, I think tournament cricket can often be quite a funny one with regards to momentum and how a tournament pans out, and momentum swings, and as you said, it was an emotional first game. So with those momentum swings, come different patterns of play and different stakes come into play and all of that. I think coming here though, we knew we had to win 2 games. So having gotten that one against Sri Lanka, it was all about just pitching up and performing again. So although it's tough to sometimes as a player to sort of control that momentum swings you have in tournaments, and I think as a team it's often very tough to control the time you peak at in a tournament, because often it's not even in your control, if I can put it like that, how the momentum swings and how things play out throughout the tournament, with regards to points and matchups and all of that. But as a professional and as a cricketer, there's going to be that sort of momentum swing and that emotional swings about tournament cricket, and we knew that beforehand. We knew that after the Sri Lankan game, we told each other that this is going to be evenly tough to get through, because we've got two sides who are high quality sides, and we need to beat both of them. That was our goal, was to win all 3 games. So regardless of any of those, sort of high points and low points and momentum swings, I think we knew what the task was. And as a professional, as a cricketer, we definitely had enough mental strength, we had enough preparation, we had enough skill in our bodies to get 2 out of 3 wins, or 3 out of 3 wins.
You said you were hard on yourselves, and when you analyze this, what is there something to be said of the format where you are playing 3 really cutthroat games in 5 days, and that after having played a very cutthroat qualification process?
Yeah, obviously we hadn't played in the qualification process, so we came into this quite fresh, but off the back of also one-day cricket and other teams that we've been playing. I think 3 games in 5 days is quite a lot. Possibly not physically that much, but perhaps mentally, all of that. As a sportsman, you start to understand what is required at the highest level, mentally and physically, to play in high stakes tournaments like this. So yes, I do think that 3 games in 5 days is quite a lot, and it's quite a quick turnaround, and hence the need for a quicker reset once you have such a big high like we had in the first game against Sri Lanka. 2 days after is quite a quick turnaround. But I don't think it's an excuse for our situation. Although it can be tiring, I don't think that is any of the reasons for not qualifying. I think that's just part and parcel of playing the game, getting paid for what you do.
You taken aback a little by the choice of the bowler and Mohammad Wasim, who hardly bowls in T20 cricket and even at club.
Yeah, to be honest, when we were out there, I was looking at the bowlers. I knew that at some stage they would have to bowl the spinners, and on the night of the short boundaries, I felt that their seamers, Junaid and Zahid, bowled really nice and executed their skills well. So those are the spinners that we were going to target. So we weren't really expecting him to come on, but when he came on at the end of the day, is a part-timer, so you'd expect him to miss one or two, but he bowled well tonight. He executed his skill, and end of the day, we just didn't have enough in us at the end there. So fair play to them, well bowled.
You've obviously played for some of the biggest teams in the world, franchise cricket. You happily come back and play for Namibia, bowling 40 degrees in Sharjah against UAE when there's nobody watching, and you look about as dejected as I've seen you after a game today. What is it about this team? What means so much to you to play for this team?
No, I think, as a cricketer nowadays, there's so many tournaments there, and you hone your skill in and you play in all of these different tournaments. But it's always nice to have that home base, and it's always nice to have a team that you can resonate with, that is close to your heart, and a team that their heart's in the right place. I mean, being a tournament player, it's quite often in for 4 weeks out and self-preservation. You do well in that tournament, you get picked up in the next one. It's a different story for playing for your country. There's the pride of playing your country, there's wanting to do well for your country, and the attachment that I've got to these guys. They're such hardworking guys, such good human beings. You just want the best for them, and I think that's just the main thing, is that I always believe that good things happen to good people, and it's a really good bunch of guys, good hardworking lads, and I think that's just the most disappointing part, is that for them, we wouldn't get the opportunity to showcase their skills in the next round, which is bitterly disappointing.
Next, we'll take a couple of questions remotely. Firdaus, please go ahead.
Thanks. Hi, David.
Hi.
David, can you just maybe talk us through the way that you planned that innings? I mean, it looked pretty much very difficult for Namibia at one point, but then there must have been a point where you thought, okay, hang on, we're still in this. And if you could maybe just talk through that, and then, how did you approach that last over?
Yeah, half of those. So we knew that, the game kind of related to script there, and because we lost those wickets in the middle there, couldn't really afford to go too early. Had to take it deep, try and take it as late as possible. We saw from their innings also batting that they got a couple in the end there. So, I just tried to stay out there as long as I possibly could, with still having positive intent. They bowled nice in the middle there, and they had all the momentum. So we knew that if we could just hold a little bit longer and stay there to the end, maybe we could cause a little panic and, get one or two big overs in there with the short boundaries. I always felt there was a possibility to get those one or two big overs. So it was all just about, we've got a saying being better for longer. Just trying to stay out there as long as possible and be that guy that's there in the last over and, hitting those winning runs. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out that way tonight. They executed their skills nicely in the end there, and, we just fell short.
And then, David, you spoke so passionately about, the way you feel about the Namibian team. And I know last year you said your goal was to make it to this year. It's probably not.
Across that river, Jordan. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.